Well, you said the Menendez brothers deserve a second chance.
Not a second chance. They have served enough time.
Well, look, I interviewed this guy, Hector Bravo. He was a prison guard in California for 16 years, and he actually was stationed with the Menendez brothers at one point. You know, he said some interesting stuff. He said, for example, when they started to come up for appeal, there was like all these charges that they had of having a cell phone in prison and all this other type of stuff that miraculously just disappeared right before the hearing. And he feels that there's political forces in place because, you know, they're popular on TikTok, they have a movie and a documentary, and the Kim Kardashians are speaking about them, that he feels that this is politically motivated to try to get them out.
Money is very powerful, extremely powerful. If you have celebrities, who do you have? Kim Kardashian, you got Rosie O'Donnell, you got these people, they have money, speaking up on behalf of the brothers. I once heard, somebody once told me, Hector, the rich cannot change the laws, but they can hire people that will not enforce the laws. Meaning the DA of Los Angeles at the time, George Gascon. People with money got into people's ears in political powers, maybe governors, maybe judges, maybe DAs, and said, hey, these guys need to get out, right? These guys need to get out at all costs. Which in turn, they introduced the new evidence into the new trial, right? But I got the inside scoop. One of the brothers, Lyle, was weekly and or bi-weekly getting caught with contraband cell phones while incarcerated. I mean, every other day, you're patting them down, you're finding a cell phone, right? People say, oh, well, what's the big deal, Hector? It's just a cell phone. No, not when the media, not when the state, not when the Board of Prison Hearings, BPH, is saying, hey, these guys are rehabilitated, they've helped other inmates, they're great for society. But here's the kicker. Do you know what happened to those write-ups with the cell phones?
Disappeared?
They disappeared.
Wow.
They disappeared. And I know that verbatim, the names of the people that made them disappeared. I used to work with these guys.
Do you agree?
No, I don't see that. Because there's been 2 prosecutors of different point of views, and they had political power to make a difference. One tried to be more compassionate than the other. So those are 2 opposing political views. So if there's a political conspiracy, which side is it coming from? So that's the only thing that I would call into question.
I guess when you look at this story, though, it's like you had 2 brothers. One was, I think, 19. The other one was like 23. They were adults. They claim they did it because the father was molesting them. So they go and get a couple of shotguns. They blow off both their parents' heads, run out of ammo, go back to the car, reload, come back into the house, finish the job. The mother, got killed as well. She wasn't doing any of this damage and so forth. They're adults. They have money. This man was not chaining them, in a basement and raping them. If it was even true, they could have left. There was no immediate danger, and yet they did what they did. So I'm really not one of these free the Menendez brothers types. I feel what they did was calculated. It was to get the parents' money, which they spent like crazy. And if you watch the documentaries, when one of them actually admitted to the therapist that he did that, the both of them came in to talk about it, the therapist ultimately took the stand. They never mentioned any of the sexual abuse at all to the therapist. And suddenly the whole sexual abuse story came out, in the trial later on. So I just question that whole thing.
I agree with every single thing you just said.
Yeah.
With the exception that I think they served enough time because, and this is where the exception comes in, I am convinced that there was sexual assault. The other family members, in fact, he had an interpersonal communication with a cousin discussing it and saying he can't take it anymore, those type of things. So that's what you call mitigating circumstance. In other words, yeah, you had a little reason to be a little angry with them, with your dad in general, but no, that what you did was heinous.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to give you the electric chair. I'm going to give you life.
Okay. And they did what, 35 years at this point?
Life.
So you feel that's pretty much long
Yes,
enough? They should be let
35
out.
is life.
Okay. Fair enough.
Let's see.
I could see a.
That's what less than 35? No, I don't think they should have been out in 20.
Right.
No, I don't think they should have
They
been
got
out in
35.
25. No, 35 is enough.